Picture Perfect is a board game that at the end, you literally take a picture and you see how perfect it is. Oh, what a great title. You're going to be just as happy as she is. At B4 Board Games, we always like to talk about what came before. And before this game came a human named Anthony Nouveau. He is a French game designer that developed this game and some of the expansions. And then they have a whole team of artists. Look at those awesome people and all those people involved to make this game possible. Arcade Wonders is the publisher. Here's a little bit about them on their website. They've been around since 2012, and they do things like the Dice Tower Essential line of games. I really like their games. They're very fresh and different, including this one. Picture Perfect came out in 2021, and one of its main mechanics is deduction, figuring out what goes where. And that can pull things from like Clue, where you're deducting who is in what room and connected to which weapon. There are similar concepts here. If you like Clue, you might like this, actually. There's other newer games that use different mechanics of people in different roles, things like One Night Ultimate Werewolf, even Love Letter with different card sorting, and things like The Resistance. So if you like deduction, but with this theme of picture taking and happy people, we recommend trying this out. But how do you know unless you know how to play? So let's look a little bit about how to play. Let's find out how to play Picture Perfect. Here is the basic setup. Look at this beautiful background with a table at this beautiful park, and every person might have a different background and landscape that they might use. Look at that. They could be at a ballroom, different scenes, and there's even expansions to have different ones of those. And you have all these character cards that you need to figure out, where do they stand? Does this guy go here? The man in the wheelchair goes here. You have a dog that might want to stand here. We got to put all of these people, including the plant, somewhere around the table. Every spot has a square, and you can see that there's spots that are close to the table and closest that are far away. There's a left and a right side. There's gender between each character. And then you have animals, and do you want to be hidden or not from the camera? Maybe you're camera shy. All those things can happen. How you determine what a character wants is at the beginning of the game before setup. We have put in here 3 cards of personalities. So in this card here, we have a boy that says he wants to be standing at the table, and it tells you what area he stands at the table. He says, I want to be next to this man. And this says, I do not want to be next to a woman. So that determines where he stands. So if I can fulfill all 3 of these objectives by the end of the game with this boy, I'll receive a certain number of points. Here's how the points are distributed. If I get all 3 of them right, I get 6 points. If I get just 2 of them right, I get 3. If I get just 1 objective, I get 1 point. But if I get none of them, it's a -3. And that can happen. But if I don't place the person at all, it's only 0. And then this is for an expansion. We're not going to worry about that today. So all these things I get to pull out. If this is my character, I get to have in my hand this round. I get to take them out, look at them, and then at the end, put them back. And then I usually have, like in a 2-player game, you get 5 different characters to look at the same time. So I can be messing with all 5 of these and thinking and looking at them. So let's just say here, this woman says that she does not want to be doesn't want anyone standing in front of her. She wants everyone to see that awesome face she's making. She wants to stand next to that man, and she wants to be at the table. So then I could be thinking, okay, so let me go ahead and just take that character and put her right here, because she's standing at the table. Nobody will be in front of her, and she's later I'm going to put, or maybe even right now, to help myself, I'm going to go ahead and take that man and say, he needs to be standing here. Later, I might find that character card and he needs to be moved to another spot, but for now, I'll leave it like this. Then what's going to happen is after everyone's satisfied and says, I'm ready to move on, you turn over one of these cards, and this says, both players give 2 envelopes to another player. So you take 2 and you pass them. So now everybody has 2 new ones, and you look at those and you put more characters out depending on what you feel is going to satisfy as many conditions as possible. If you have a character that you really believe in, like I think I got him perfect, you get at 1 time per game, you can add a VIP to this guy. If a character gets a VIP card added, that doubles the value. So when he gets all 3 right, now that's 12 points. But if he gets 2, that's 6 and so on. But if it's not at all done for you, that's going to be -6 because it's double -3. So the VIP ones, once you see one of those come into your life, you want to make sure you really can at least complete one of these for that character. So you go through this entire deck, and when all these have been completed, which is about 6 different times of exchanging, then you open up all the envelopes and you take out all the cards and you go through each of the characters and score points accordingly using this beautiful little side of the board to keep track of how many points each person is getting. So you say, okay, she wanted to be standing next to her, and so on. And then you determine points, and then you put that away and you get out the next one and open up all their cards and go through all of their missions and see if they have been completed or not. Whoever has the most points wins. Here's an example of what it looks like at the end of the game when you're scoring points, when you're taking that picture on your phone. Picture Perfect is a refreshing game to have on your shelf. When you say, hey, let's play a game with some physical pieces, we put it around a table, and at the end, we're going to take a picture to determine point value. That sounds very different than any other game. And the fact that you can say, well, actually, there's no turns. We're all going to play at the same time, and we're going to deduct where these people should be staying. And then whoever can get the most points is going to win that round, that game. So this is one of those things that I love to find in a game. Takes a clever mechanic like deduction and puts it into a situation like taking a picture and helping people stand in the right place. So it is a great game for people that love photography. It's a great game that people like deduction. And I think it works well for 2 players or there's even an expansion for 5 to 6 players that you are passing cards. And so you're never really waiting for anybody else to decide what to do. It is all a bunch of deduction memory with some cute art and a funny story at the end. So this is a game we highly recommend. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. We'd love to have you join us and talk about more board games. What have you been up to? What kind of games helped you find the game that you're playing today? What games came before that one to get you to that level? We'd love to hear your story. So we always say, you matter, people matter, and people really do affect and deal with the reality of board games. So we always say, people before board games. See you next time.